Welcome to the Disney Scrapbook, where together we take a journey to explore Disney history from 50 years ago. My name is Nolan. Today I thought we'd take a first look at Disney's 88-minute nature film, The Best of Walt Disney's True Life Adventures, released October 8th, 1975. This series, produced between 1948 and 1960, includes 7 featurettes: Seal Island, Beaver Valley, Nature's Half Acre, The Olympic Elk, Water Birds, Bear Country, and Prowlers of the Everglades, as well as 6 feature films: The Living Desert, The Vanishing Prairie, The African Lion, Secrets of Life, White Wilderness, and Jungle Cat. These films, 8 of which won Academy Awards, showcased animals of all kinds, depicted from various habitats in dramatic and fascinating moments. The films combined meticulous fieldwork with engaging narratives, making complex ecological themes accessible to a broad audience. In part 1 of this 2-part series, on the compilation of the best of these films, we will discover the initial catalyst for the project, and how the film's framework is constructed. Having initially used live footage shot in Maine by Maurice Jake Day in the 1930s as reference for the animated feature film Bambi, Disney executives began to see the possibilities of the financial incentives of nature documentaries. Disney's film production in the early 1940s focused heavily on educational films, especially during World War II. This interest continued as the studio attempted to find ways to monetize the educational market. Photographer, filmmaker, and Disney legend Alfred Merlot had studied at the Art Institute of Chicago. Further studies at the University of Washington led him to meet his future wife, Disney legend Alma Moore Jolly Merlot. The two married in Ketchikan, Alaska in 1934, where they opened a photography studio. Wanting to share their love of nature, they began filming while traveling around Alaska, producing independent films that they used to create a traveling lecture series that they exhibited around the United States. In 1947, Walt Disney was inspired when he happened upon one of their films, and hired the pair to film the Alaskan wilderness. Alfred and Alma Merlot were sent to the Pribilof Islands in the Bering Sea off Alaska to shoot the Alaskan wilderness. Walt was concerned about the vanishing frontier and wanted it recorded for posterity. He told them to shoot anything and everything that might capture the spirit of this disappearing outpost of civilization. The fruits of their labor produced 100,000 feet of film. Walt found most of the material mind-numbingly boring, but zeroed in on footage of the playful seals. He requested more footage emphasizing the life cycle of the seals, without showing any indication of man's presence. The Merlots continued shooting seals for another year, their only correspondence from Walt being telegrams proclaiming simply more seals. Director James Alger and producer Ben Sharpstein were assigned to the project, where they established a template to guide viewers for the wildlife footage, which consisted of a narrator and a full musical score that would ultimately be used for all true-life documentaries. Seal Island was the resulting 27-minute film that captured the arrival of male seals known as bulls, who established territories and wait for the arrival of females. The incredible visual footage shot by the Merlots showcases the natural behaviors of these seals, including mating rituals and the challenges faced by younger males as they compete for dominance and harems. Algar largely wrote the narration that was delivered by Winston Hibler in a slightly detached yet jovial manner. Disney's distributor, RKO, felt that the half-hour documentary would not appeal to audiences. So Walt had a friend who ran the Crown Theater in Pasadena, California, run the film for a week regionally, premiering on December 21, 1948. This qualified Seal Island for an Academy Award, and indeed, it was honored with the 1949 Oscar for Best Two-Reel Short Subject, noted for its impact and quality as a pioneering nature documentary. Upon this success, RKO had a change of heart, and the film was generally released on May 4th, 1949. Disney's financial genius, Walt Disney, was skeptical about the project, because this 30-minute documentary had cost $86,000 to produce. However, his fears were abated when its first run grossed more than $434,000. Seal Island had paved the way for a Disney nature documentary series that by 1960 would include 13 films. Eventually, some 40 scientist photographers contributed to the series, and the richest work has been distilled into the full-length feature entitled The Best of Walt Disney's True Life Adventures. The Best of Walt Disney's True Life Adventures opened with a eulogy to Walt Disney, a pioneer of nature films and an animal lover. A short excerpt from Seal Island is the first in the series of True Life Adventure films to be included in this compilation film, as befits the innovative film. During the visual footage, the narration mentions how Disney raised public awareness of the environment long before the word ecology became part of the modern vernacular. Second comes an excerpt from The Vanishing Prairie, with a thundering herd of bison racing across the plain. Narrator Winston Hibbler indicates how Disney finds musical rhythms in the sounds made by nature. Illustrated by bighorn lambs filmed by Herb Kreisler and Cleveland Grant, who climbed high into the Rockies to film butting sheep. This footage was set to Birdie's amber chorus, followed by sage grouse and dancing prairie chicks, making the distinctive sonic contributions. To enhance its entertainment value, sound effects were added by the inventive Foley artist, Disney legend James McDonald. The added music and fast-paced editing turned this straightforward documentary into appealing entertainment designed for all ages. Talented Oscar-winning composer Paul Smith's square dance music for the Scorpion's courtship in the Living Desert excerpt, and the tango for the tarantulas perpetuates this concept by adding personality and pacing to the film. The emotional quality of Paul Smith's underscore music, used to draw the audience into the films, definitely contributed to their success, giving them a depth of emotion they would not have otherwise have had. However, it could be said that Disney manipulated actual visual scenes of nature into a cartoon spectacle by giving the animals personalities, reinforced by the fact that the raw visual footage was edited into a story prior to adding both the music and narration. Disney's foremost intent was to entertain. The educational component of this film was a fortuitous byproduct. As Paul Smith says in D.A. Geddes' book, the composer's chief concern, first and last, is to enhance the audience's delight in and reflection on the wonders of the world around him. Here we take a break. Please join me in part 2, where we will research the film's incredible photographers, the long-reaching arm of Disney's advertising machine, and how the True Life Adventures transformed Disney's film distribution. Thank you for listening. If you enjoy an evening of groundbreaking photography with an educational intrigue and would like to watch the best of Walt Disney's true life adventures before we meet again in part 2, it is available on iTunes, YouTube, Amazon Prime, and Google Play. If you enjoy this type of 50th anniversary content, please like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. The Disney Scrapbook will be producing other 50th anniversary content throughout the year that will include reviews of Disney films, LPs, books, and FIFA content. Thanks everybody for watching. Please join me in part 2. TTFN, ta-da for now.